morning. Isn't this just a lovely morning? This must be one of the most beautiful places in South Africa. On the Swartberg Mountains, sunrise, actually a beautiful winter's morning. The tranquility of nature, not a person in sight, just us. To the north, we're actually overlooking the Great Karoo. And the next mountain range is nearly 150 kilometers from here. The Great Karoo is nearly 400,000 square kilometers. It's sort of a semi-arid landscape. So this is a dry region. We are on the Swartberg Pass, arguably one of the most beautiful passes in the world. And we are currently at about 1,560 meters above mean sea level. Temperature is nothing less than 18 degrees. It's beautiful. We actually have more than 300 sunshine days per annum. So this is what we're used to. The clouds just gives us a beautiful effect this morning. Just look at those beautiful formations and the sunrise. By the way, my name is Jan Bester. I'm a Swartberg Mountain guide. I've been guiding in the mountain for nearly 15 years. So this is my office. I try and spend as much time as possible in the mountain. And it's my privilege to travel and show guests our beautiful landscape. So the Swartberg Mountain Range is pretty iconic because it divides the Little Karoo and the Great Karoo. Now, Karoo is an interesting term. It's a Khoi word that means place of little water, or like we will say, dry land. And that's the beauty of this mountain. There's no artificial noise. It's just nature. To the south, we have the Little Karoo that extends all the way south to the Oudtshoorn Mountains, and then from there, it's a coastline, the Indian Ocean or the Garden Route. And this is quite an interesting vegetational experience to walk the Swartberg Fynbos biome. Now, the Swartberg Mountains was declared a World Heritage Site with the 8 protected regions of the Cape Floral Kingdom into 2004. And what makes it unique is because it's this unique vegetation, the fynbos or fine bush, if you will, also regarded by the local Khoi people as the pharmacy of the Little Karoo. Many of the plants here have fantastic medicinal attributes, and the indigenous people used to use these plants for medicine, and today still do. So if you have time today, I'm actually going to show you around a bit. We would like to go north down this beautiful valley, down the pass towards Prince Albert. And I would love to show you the Little Karoo side as well, to give you a bit of an orientation of what my office looks like and what a typical day looks like in my life. So I'm looking forward to this. Really looking forward to this. All right, so now we are descending the Swartberg Pass to the northern side, which is heading towards the town of Prince Albert. And in total, the distance of the Swartberg Pass is about 25 kilometers. So it's a gravel road, as you have noticed, and offering fantastic, exquisite views of the sandstone formation. Now, I will point out to you a very unique feature of this mountain, and the formation is exactly the same as the Table Mountain group. Or Table Mountain consists of it's the Cape supergroup structure, and it is largely consists of sandstone formations. So the Swartberg is part of that. It's also mostly Table Mountain sandstone, and we also refer to these as the Cape Fold Belt Mountains. So all the mountain ranges within the Southern Cape runs east-west, and there's a very good reason for that. It's because of the impact of the tectonic plates. To the south we have the Falklands Plateau colliding with the Gondwana land, which at the time was Africa, South America, Antarctica, Australia, India, Madagascar, all in one supercontinent. And with the impact, with that collision, it pushed up all the soil. And this is a historical seabed. And it pushed up the soil and formed what we call the Cape Fold Belt Mountains. So none of these mountain ranges were ever formed through volcanic activities. These are all formed by the upheaval of soil due to the impact of two tectonic plates. So around the corner we'll have a fantastic view of what we will call the zigzags. And there we have the pass descending quite rapidly into the gorge, and that gorge will then run out to Prince Albert. So now we are starting our descent down the zigzags, which is about a 600-700 meter drop in these hairpin switchbacks. Enjoying the beautiful views of the folding formation of the sandstone. That's a very good example. So now we are entering the gorge, descended the zigzags about 600 odd meters. And this is the dynamic of the Swartberg Pass. From the south you ascend to 1,580 odd meters, and then suddenly to the north you just drop down through the zigzags into this beautiful gorge, and offering the fantastic strata. Sandstone layer upon layer as it was deposited in a sedimentary fashion, and just enjoy the beautiful views. And now as we turn right here into the final section of the gorge, this is what I call the amphitheater. This is one of my special spots. This is definitely a place where one can have a cup of tea and then just enjoy the tranquility. And the water stream running next to us, fantastic. Now this is where I can just sit and enjoy the views for hours. Sound of nature, surrounded by this beautiful rock formation. So here we are in the gorge, my amphitheater. I consider this my boardroom. Vertical strata, beautiful sandstone sedimentary layers. It just leaves one in awe to witness such the dramatic folding of the sandstone and how this was brought about. One can only imagine. From here we can normally we progress to Prince Albert. However, today I would love to show you more of the Swartberg Pass. So we're going to head back up the zigzags again, and then I want to show you the Little Karoo side. Different views, beautiful views, obviously over the Oudtshoorn mountains. The Little Karoo there's more vegetation, but I want us to enjoy maximum of the mountain today. And once again, may I remind you, this is a winter's morning in South Africa. So privileged to enjoy nature, and as you have seen, we only had a few cyclists the whole morning on the pass. Folk will only traverse it, those living in Prince Albert heading to Oudtshoorn, or sometimes it's a few tourists that will drive over the pass, or obvious us that do the guided tours. But I'm going to take a bit of me time now. Enjoy a cup of tea and just drink in nature. And then we'll head up the pass and I'll show you some beautiful sceneries again before we get to this afternoon. I thought I'll just show you the dry stone walling. Now we had a bit of floods, quite a bit of rain lately. And obviously you could see it did some damage to the wall. But imagine that this wall was completed in 1888. And it's been around here for 130 plus years, which I think is quite impressive. And then, as I mentioned earlier, just look at the beautiful folding. And you will see there's a bit of a readiness. It's like a rusty color on the sandstone. And that is because it's contains iron oxide. And with prolonged exposure to water, it oxidizes. So one can imagine, historically we're talking a couple 100 million years ago, this used to be a historical river. And the water had to make contact with this rock face over a prolonged period. And for that being possible, one has to realize that the mountain, the estimate, was about 8,000 meters high. Today it is only 2,300 meters at its maximum point. But millions of years ago, this mountain was as high as the Himalayas. Is a beautiful protea. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Swartberg Pass, or the Swartberg Mountain, being a World Heritage Site, and the reason for it being a UNESCO World Heritage Site is because of its vegetation. And that is, as we mentioned earlier, we discussed earlier, it was the fynbos biome. Now, fynbos you might think is a specific plant, but it's not. Fynbos is a vegetational biome which consists of what you see in front of you, proteas. Now this specific protea is the sugar bush protea. All sugar bushes are sort of nectar-bearing proteas. And this specific one is the Protea laurifolia, or we call it the strap-leaf protea. Also a bearded protea. They are very waxy and hard, so it can retain moisture. I've stopped at a very unique spot on the pass, which is this rock face. And here we can see clearly, and we mentioned that earlier, that the Swartberg Mountain, the sandstone formation, are sedimentary seabed. And you can see the fossilized shells. So we are still on the northern slopes of the Swartberg Pass, and I saw this beautiful broadleaf sugar bush. Protea exemia. Still lovely to see some proteas still in flower, considering that it is winter. And you can see this side, more flowers, more vegetation, solely because we didn't have fires on this side of the mountain, on these slopes for quite a bit of time. And here we have a beautiful punctata again. Just look at those colors. Here we have one of my favorite plants on the mountain, which is a Protea conebush or leucodendron. And this one we call the silver conebush or the strawberry conebush. Look at those beautiful cones. So this will not, there won't be any flowers on this Protea. What you see is the cone, and it also has the seed pods within it. This is the female, and the male species has a slightly smaller cone. Beautiful. Leucodendron album, the strawberry conebush, or the silver conebush. Here we are, guys, and this is the view over the Little Karoo. The beautiful Swartberg Pass, meandering down into the Kango Valley. The Kango Valley, the Kango is a Khoi word from the historical people that lived here from about 80,000 years ago. They resided in some of the cave systems that we find in the valley, in the limestone formations. And they are the ancestry of the first people of South Africa, which are the Khoi people. Beautiful Kango Valley. Then just south is the Redstone Mountain. That is Enon conglomerates. Also historical riverbed, and then right on the horizon is the Oudtshoorn Mountains. South of that is the sea, the Indian Ocean, and also the very popular garden route. The capital of the Little Karoo is Oudtshoorn, just above the Redstone Hills. It's the town of Oudtshoorn. And from Oudtshoorn to the sea, it's about 45 minutes drive. And also, if you drive an hour north, you end up in the Great Karoo, which makes it a fantastic area to explore because of its diversity. Here we have the beautiful aloe ferox, not aloe vera, which is internationally renowned. The aloe ferox is quite a tall, quite a large aloe, and in winter it has these beautiful inflorescence. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the day with me, exploring the Swartberg Pass. The morning we had a lovely early morning rise in Teeberg, and then we went down the northern zigzags into the gorge. That was fantastic once again. And now we overlook to the south the Kango Valley. Kango is a Khoi word from the first people of our country, meaning place of water. The ancestry of the Khoi people of South Africa, as we call them, the first people, they lived in cave systems just down to the east of here in the limestone formations. So we don't find cave systems in sandstone, but we do find a lot of cave systems in the limestone. So 80,000 years ago already, the ancestor of the Khoi people lived in this beautiful region. I hope you enjoyed the day with me. I would love to welcome you back if you haven't been to South Africa before, or even the Southern Cape, or the Little Karoo, or the Great Karoo, or the Swartberg Mountains. It would be fantastic to show you and all the detail and all the plants. We just had a quick orientation today. Also would like to invite you. We present stargazing, lovely stargazing sessions. We call it the High Five, and we will introduce you to the most prominent stars, galaxies, globular clusters, constellations, and planets. And the Karoo night skies are ideal for stargazing because we have no light pollution, no industrial pollution. It's just pristine. So with this beautiful backdrop behind me in my office, I bid you a fantastic trip, journey whenever you come and visit us. Please go and connect with us on Facebook or our website at www.throughsouthtravel.co.za. There you can see all our tours and packages and connect with me directly, and I would love to be your host. I bid you farewell.